that was a big moment and a big shift for me in my business, because I learned that, you got to invest money to get money.
Right.
And I think I spent $2,000 that first month in cold calling. I got my first deal from that in Waller, Texas. Little tiny deal. It was a trailer. I made like $2,800, but it was something, dude.
Yeah.
But it was proof of concept,
Right.
that I spent money and now I get money. And that
Right.
was a big mindset shift for me. My heart, my vision was one thing. And then this person, he kind of had a different mindset. It was more transactional. It was more just want to make a buck. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I love to make money. But there was something I wanted to really do. And I wanted to build people and to really build a company that had a little bit more of a soul to it.
Yeah.
And so I would say the values, like, what I did not do is I did not check on values. I did not understand who this guy was, really. Just to know that every single person that you look up to that's successful, they've been punched in the gut hundreds and thousands of times. And I promise you, they all had moments where they wanted to quit.
Yeah.
So you're in good company.
Yeah.
So just keep going, find the people you can connect with to help you grow, and don't give up.
Yeah. Welcome to another episode of Pick Up the Phone podcast. I'm your host, Josue Llanas. I'm the founder of GetYou.ai. This is the first emotional intelligent voice AI for real estate investors. It's not artificial intelligence, it's emotional intelligence. Today's guest is Blake Hawkins. Blake Hawkins has been wholesaling since 2017. He's closed over 450 close transactions, and he's invested over 1.5 million in lead generation. So,
Yep.
Blake, thank you for being here, man.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, dude. So, man, let's start at the beginning, bro. How did you get started? What got you into real estate? What got you wholesaling?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, oftentimes people have really cool stories,
Yeah.
When they get into real estate, and mine wasn't really like that. It was, real estate was off my radar.
Yeah.
So I was a fitness trainer for 10 years. I was at 24 Hour Fitness from 2006 to 2016.
Yeah.
And then I got into car sales after that. Started doing car sales in Clear Lake, Nissan, and that was the first time I actually made good money.
Yeah.
And so I got a little bit of a taste of what that's like, and it's like, oh man, this is pretty sweet, where you have a little bit more money than your bills each month. That's nice.
Yeah.
That's a nice feeling.
Yeah.
So anyways, long story short, I sold a Nissan Titan truck to a fix and flipper.
Okay.
And during that sales process, I was just kind of, building rapport and, just kind of just having dialogue with him. He was a cool dude, and sold him a truck. And I remember, when we were on that demo drive, that he was telling me that he was in real estate. At that time, I thought everybody was a real estate agent.
Okay.
I knew nothing about fix and flipping, wholesaling, investing. Like, I wasn't a real estate guy at all.
Right.
And so anyways, we sold the truck and we went about our business. And then a couple months went by, and I remember the day, like it was yesterday. It was on a Friday in December of 2017.
Okay.
And it was a really bad day at the dealership. I felt like I got screwed on some commission.
Really?
And if you're in car sales, you understand what I'm talking about. The way they do, the way they structure that.
Yeah.
So anyways, I'm just kind of sitting there at the end of the day, and I'm like, man, is this something I really want to do long term? I've been doing this for a minute, and so anyways, I left the dealership and I called that guy. I just basically called him like 9:00 at night on a Friday.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And his name is Nathan. Shout out to Nathan Haley.
It's Nathan Haley?
Yeah. He's the one that got me into real estate. So I called him and I was like, hey, Nathan, this is Blake. I sold you that Nissan Titan, a couple months ago. And he was like, oh, is everything okay? And I was like, no, dude, it's fine. I was like, bro, I want to get into real estate.
Right.
And the thing is when you're in real estate for a long time, everybody and their mom tells you that, So I don't think he wasn't, he didn't shut me down, but you can tell, like, he was like, okay, cool. Like, everybody wants to get in real estate.
Right.
So I was like, I'm serious. Can you help me? He was like, well, hey man, here's my office. It's over here in Clear Lake. I have an office here. I'm there Monday through Friday. Feel free to come by next week. It's like, cool, dude. Well, Thursdays are my off days from the dealership. I'll be over there. And so I did that next week. I drove over there. I think he was surprised that I showed up, and I helped him, or he helped me, but my value to him was I'd put out signs for him, Bandit signs. I would just kind of do follow alongs in the truck, and I would watch him work with sellers.
Yeah.
Just kind of help him with some small stuff, but he was really giving me some time to where I can learn and understand deals. And so anyways, still at the dealership, I worked probably 2 or 3 transactions with him.
Yeah.
And that was kind of my tuition, and it was really cool because I got to be on the phones with him and see how he talked to sellers and buyers and all that. And so March of 2018, I walked into the dealership and I was like, dude, I'm sort of an instinct guy.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, I'm done with this.
Yeah.
I'm done. And so I literally quit.
Yeah.
Left the dealership that day. My GM was trying to keep me back and he was like, no, why are you doing that? You can do both. And I was like, no, dude, like I'm here 70 hours a week. Like you can't do anything here. Like
Right.
you're at the dealership all the time. And, so I left, and immediately that day I went driving for dollars.
Really?
Yeah. And in Alvin and Friendswood, and I was just writing down a bunch of addresses. Cause that's what Nathan told me to do. He's like, write down a bunch of addresses and then you can call them and try to work some deals. And so that's what I did. Dude, probably like literally thousands of addresses over the next probably 6-8 weeks, driving for dollars. And then I would cold call these people and see if they would have interest. I was using white pages. I would skip trace them, and
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, dude.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I look back and I'm like, if I would have known how hard it was going to be, I probably wouldn't have done it.
No, yeah.
But I was so, just enamored by this like thing of like, oh, I could do a real estate deal. Like this is cool, And my thought process was, if I sell 20 cars in a month, that's a transaction. That's a deal from start to finish. You got to work the whole deal. It's within 1 day time frame, but it's a smaller payout. And I'm like, dude, I'll just do less deals. It's the same thing. I have someone on the front end, someone on the back end. Like, I just want to do a bigger deal. So that was my thought process of real estate. I was like, dude, it's the same thing. I'm just doing deals, but it's a larger asset, a bigger product. So, but I didn't realize how difficult it was going to be. It was very difficult. So it took me, it was like 6 months to get my first closed transaction. Yeah. And it wasn't a whole lot. I think I made $3,000 or something, and in that first year, I ended up doing like 8 deals. I made $40,000, that first year in real estate. And it was tough because I had a little bit of money saved up from doing car sales, but it wasn't a whole lot. So, things got really tight at the end of that first year. But I just kept trucking forward. And then 2019, that first 3 months, still in that struggle bus. And then something really shifted for me midway 2019. It was a very definitive moment. I had like 3 appointments across Houston that day. And, if you're from Houston, that can mean a lot because it's like, okay, you're in Galveston, but then you're in the Woodland. So I was very like, the appointments were all over the place. Yeah. So dude, I drove to each house and nobody showed up. Yeah. And so then at the end of the day, here I am sitting in my Nissan Sentra. And I'm like, okay, dude, I was in this car for 12 hours a day. Nothing happened. Like nothing happened. And I have no pipeline. And where's my next deal coming from? Like it was a kind of a scary moment for me. Yeah. And so I was listening to a lot of podcasts at that time. I was listening to Steve Trang a lot. He had Disruptor. That was when it first came out, dude. I just ate that podcast up. I thought it was really cool. And I remember at that time in 2019, cold calling was the thing, right? Like, dude, you're going to get the cold callers. They're going to make the calls. They're going to generate leads. Right. So I was like, dude, okay, cool. So this guy on LinkedIn reached out to me like a month prior. He's from the Philippines. This was in that time frame. And he asked if he could help me in my business. And I said no, because I didn't understand at that time. Yeah. Well, dude, that day I left, went home that night. I messaged him. He responded the next day. And dude, I didn't have a whole lot of capital, but I was like, dude, let's just do it. Give me 2 callers and let's start cold calling. Yeah. And so that was a big moment and a big shift for me in my business because I learned that, you got to invest money to get money. Right. And I think I spent $2,000 that first month in cold calling. I got my first deal from that in Waller, Texas. Little tiny deal. It was a trailer. I made like $2,800, but it was something, dude. Yeah. But it was proof of concept, right? That I spent money and now I get money. And that was a big mindset shift for me. because I didn't grow up with entrepreneurial parents. I wasn't like some kid that was like, I don't have that story. You know, some of those kids are like, oh, I was selling lemonade. It wasn't me, dude. I was not that guy. I wasn't some entrepreneur business guy. So I had to learn these things by trial and error.
Yeah.
But that was a big internal shift for me. And then I just went all in on cold calling and kind of built that up and you know, got the business up to where we're doing, you know, 3 closings a month on average for, you know, into 2019, 2020, and then kind of going to 21. And then I made some shifts from there. But that's how I got into real estate. I know it's a long-winded answer.
Yeah.
But that's how I got into it.
No, yeah, that makes perfect sense, man.
Yeah.
Are you originally from Houston?
I am.
Nice.
Yeah, I was born in Galveston and raised in half my life in Freeport and in Alvin.
No kidding.
Yeah.
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 Okay, cool. So kind of like the outskirts of town, huh?
Yeah.
So you were born in Galveston?
Yeah.
That's cool. That's
Yeah.
cool. So you were did you grow up by the beach and
No.
No?
My parents were 15 when they had me. So
No kidding.
I had teenage parents. The reason why my mom went to Galveston is because that's where you go if you don't have like insurance and stuff.
Yeah.
So, so this is a true story. My dad had to hitchhike to get to the hospital because he was 15 and didn't have a car, and he was working at McDonald's at the time. So he hitchhiked and got there, but that's why I was born in Galveston, but they were living in Alvin at the time.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wild story, man.
Yeah.
Well, definitely humble beginnings then, huh?
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
So what happened after, you know, you mentioned 2017, 2018, 2019, and you're doing 3 deals consistently. What happened? What was the shift that got you to start producing, you know, substantial more amounts of deals and also revenue?
Yeah.
What was that thing for you?
Yeah. Big moment. So 2020, it's crazy because when you look back on your entrepreneurial journey, there's always like these definitive moments, and that's been my experience.
Yeah.
So September 2020, man, I'm doing more volume, but I'm still I'm just slanging deals.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's no real infrastructure. I have one acquisition guy helping me. We're just slanging deals. And then I added another acquisition guy. So I had 2 guys and myself, and there was really no process, right? I was okay with that because I thought it was working at the time. But I was, who's my wife now, we were dating at the time. I took her to Austin for her birthday for the weekend. And so this was September 2020. So we leave, we're officing out of the city center at the time. And so we leave and we do the weekend. It was great. And then I come back, I'm in a good mood. Well, I show up Monday morning and I don't have my guys anymore. They left. They went to a competitor over the weekend. The competitor, who's not in the business anymore, he was in the same office building across the hallway. So we knew, like, I wholesaled, he wholesaled. I actually was trying to be collaborative. We can do deals. And he seemed cool, you know, about that as well. Well, he knew I left. He came over during the weekend, recruited my guys. And he was like, how much is Blake paying you? And he's like, I'll pay you more. Number one, it was all fugazi because he was saying he was going to pay him a certain amount. I knew from a business, I was like, that doesn't even make financial sense. You'll bankrupt your own company. But it was something to get them. So anyways, they left. They took some deals. They called the sellers while I was gone. They told them that, you know, we switched companies, and, you know, sellers don't know. They're like, okay, cool, whatever. You're the point of contact I've been dealing with. You're telling me it was ABC LLC. Now it's XYZ LLC. I don't care.
Right.
So I come back Monday morning, I'm blindsided. And then I only had 2 or 3 deals in the pipeline in escrow, and then they kind of got undercut. I was able to kind of work myself back in and get some of that, but it was a long story, a lot of BS. So anyways, that happened. So then I'm sitting there like from square one. I'm like, okay, well, now I don't have any sales guys, and the deals I had in escrow are all janky now, and they're all screwed up. And what the hell am I going to do now? So it's kind of a moment where I reflected. And I took a pause, and I told a buddy of mine who's a real estate agent here in Houston, I was like, look, dude, I think I'm done, bro. Like, it was cool, slanging some deals, made a little bit of money, spent a lot of money, made money. You know how it is. It's crazy. I was like, dude, I think I'm just going to maybe try to go get a sales job somewhere, like a corporate sales job. I have some experience now. I feel like I have some skills. I think that's my path.
Yeah.
And I was really like kind of buying into that, to be honest with you.
Right.
He was like, hey, we talked. And then like a couple weeks later, I'm still pausing on everything. I'm just literally just kind of chilling and just trying to figure out what my steps are going to be. He called me. He's like, hey, there's a guy that he's a little bit older, but I told him your situation and he's interested in becoming partners with you. And maybe he can help you kind of get the business back going, build out some infrastructure and all that.
Yeah.
I was like, cool, man. So I met with him. He's an older guy, different background than I'm from. He went to University of Chicago and MBA, and he worked at Exxon as a controller and like, just stuff that I was like, oh man, that's wild. Like there's a lot of credentials there.
Yeah.
And so we met, we had lunch a couple times, we had dinner, we were just kind of dialoguing back and forth. And, we kind of negotiated a little bit of like what the partnership should look like. And we finally agreed like, hey, let's do this.
Yeah.
He would be the finance guy. And he would kind of help with some infrastructure because he comes from that corporate background.
Right. So
we got into partnership with each other at the end of December, 2020. It was good. We would put a little bit of operating capital in the company. I went and hired a couple of acquisition guys. And
so you did go into partnership with him.
I did. Yeah, I did. And I did it because a couple of things. He had skill sets that I didn't have.
Yeah. How long did you know this guy before you went into?
Oh man, dude, 3 months.
3 months.
It wasn't that long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a short period.
It was a short period. And me now would tell that version of me, don't do that.
Yeah.
But at that time, I was so naive,
and you're wanting to do more, right?
Yeah, I was just so.
You're also like in a bad spot mentally.
Yeah. I'm like,
this is not doing great,
right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, but it's that being naive and sort of pure, right? Because like in business, you go through some things and you realize, oh, not everyone thinks like this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there are bad players. That's a real thing. You know what I mean? And so I didn't understand that. Right. Like I just had, my mindset was like, we're just going to build something great. You know what I mean? And you have skill sets that I don't have. I have skill sets that mirror yours, where like I'm more of the sales, team building, culture, and then he has that infrastructure, finance. Cool.
Yeah.
So that was my thought process. And so we became partners. I recruited some sales guys. They were really cool. They were awesome. And they kind of hopped on board and got marketing back up and going.
Yeah.
At that time, I was buddies with Nick Perry before he kind of started his coaching program. That was around that time when he started it. I was already talking to him months prior to like maybe helping me with PPC.
Yeah.
And so we did some one-on-one coaching calls and all that. And so he helped me get my PPC going because I knew, I was like, we got to get leads coming to us.
Right.
Now that I had this business partner and we have a little bit of capital and I feel like we can fulfill opportunities better, this is worth investing in.
Right.
And so we did. We went all in on digital PPC the very beginning of 2021. And we were like, screw it, we're going to go nationwide. And it was cool because that first deal I got was in Pennsylvania. And it was awesome. Like, dude, lead came in and we signed a contract maybe a couple of days later. We assigned it. I was one of the first people to sign up Investor Lift.
Yeah.
So we did everything all at one time.
Right.
And dude, we sold the deal on Investor Lift, made like 25 grand.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, this is amazing. Like we're gonna be billionaires. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's obviously much more difficult than that, but it was a quick hit of success.
Right.
And so that was our model. That's how we grew. That's how I scaled. Is I switched my marketing to all inbound digital ads. We went nationwide.
And what time frame is this? 2020?
21. Yeah, the very beginning of 21.
Got it.
January. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. And dude, we did everything at one time. I'm talking, we went from cold calling to digital PPC, and then we invested in Investor Lift, which at that time was 36 grand a year. It was a heavy investment. We did it. And I'm still grandfathered into that price because I think now it's like $6 grand a month or something. So
wow.
So I'm glad I did it. But
yeah.
And so that's how we kind of broke through that barrier, and then we went nationwide. That year, we ended up probably doing I think around 700 grand in revenue. 35, 40 deals, something like that. there was a lot of issues logistically with Nationwide that I wasn't
aware of
yeah. until you kind of start getting into that.
Right.
But that's how we broke through sort of that barrier. And then we just kind of maintain that model and try to build it out, from there, and then going into the next year. So
yeah, man, that's a pretty awesome story, man. It kind of shows a little bit about, like how you reach that moment of breakthrough, right? Yeah. To start doing something differently. And I'd really like to hear about your learning lessons with that first partnership. I know you mentioned, you've had two. So let's talk a little bit about that real quick. But before, let's just take a quick commercial break to hear from our sponsors.
Absolutely.
If you're a real estate investor in Houston, Texas, you need to listen up. Andrew Fott with Renovo is the #1 lender with DSCR 30-year fixed loans. He can do 1 to 4 family. He can do 5 units plus. He can do commercial, anything you need. Andrew Fott is your #1 source for long-term financing. Right now, his current rates are high 5s to low 6s. He's got a 1 to 2 points in origination, and he can fund up to 75% loan to value, so he can refinance you, cash you out right out of that hard money loan that you have, no problems. And he's a direct lender, which means that you don't have to go through any AMC BS, right? So what that means is they have an in-house appraiser. No need to chase an appraiser to figure out how they do business. Renovo has it all in-house. They also have a in-house servicing company. So anytime you need any help with tax forms, any help with servicing your loan, Andrew is one phone call or email away to help you out. I'm a testament of this. He has one of my long-term notes, and it's always smooth as pie to get any sort of documents that I need. So Andrew's a relationship-based lender, meaning that if you're trying to figure out something with your loan, he can help you through it, guide you through it, and set you up for success. So if you're interested in a 30-year fixed rate loan, hit up my boy Andrew Fott with Renovo. His phone number is 210-425-2190. If you're a wholesaler in Houston, Texas, Kason Sullivan is the #1 guy to getting your deal sold in as little as 3 days. So Kason Sullivan works for the #1 buyer in all of Houston. This is called New Western. It's a massive operation. They have 20 to 30 dispo agents working around the clock to sell your deal as soon as you get it. All you need to do is, if you have your deal, call up Kason. If you give him just 2 to 3 days, if you give him property access, he can get you any number on any deal. They have a full closing team, so you don't have to worry about escrow, transaction coordination, any legal. And that gives you less time selling the property and more time to source your own deals. And that's how you scale your company. Casey Sullivan closed 72 deals last year, so you know that this guy is the real deal and an actual operator. You can reach out to Kason at 409-527-1115. If you're a real estate investor in Texas, Natalie Basak with Black Label Title is the #1 title company for real estate investors. Here's why. Natalie can pull free instant property reports for existing clients that show liens, nearby foreclosures, any delinquent taxes. This is so that investors can do their due diligence before going under contract. I'm sure she could even help you out if you need to do some sort of due diligence. If you're going to go buy at the auction, Natalie Basak is the #1 person for you. They are backed by multiple underwriters, so they have different people that can make sure that your deal gets closed. And I think what's really cool about them is that they do pass through A to B closings. This means that you don't need transactional funding. This alone saves you several $1,000s on every closing that you do. That is a double closing. So that means that you can use the B to C transaction to be able to fund the A to B, no transactional funding needed. They're familiar with all investor transactions from assignments, double closes, novations, sub twos, wraps, anything that's creative. Reach out to Natalie Basak. Her phone number is 936-442-8486. Natalie Basak with Black Label Title. All right, and we're back. So we were talking about 2021, hitting that breakthrough, going going into PPC now, doing different things. So this first partnership, what happened there? How did everything kind of unravel? I know, before we started filming, you were talking about, you've had 2 failed partnerships and how you've learned a lot from them. You grew a lot from them, but more importantly, what were the learning lessons? And for anyone that's listening, I think it's very important to share, these insights. And really, you can call them, failed partnerships, but they're stepping stones to developing your character.
Absolutely.
Right. So what are the lessons that you learned from this first partnership here?
Yeah. So, I think there's 2 sides of the coin. There's things that I learned, that I would say on the positive side. Right. So this person I was in the first partnership, to his credit, he was very skilled at finance, very skilled at cash flow management, very skilled at, like, that was his thing. Like, he was a finance guy.
Yeah.
So I got to learn and see how he processed and how he would work all of those things regarding finance. Because once again, like, humble beginnings, I didn't go to college. Finance was, I was ignorant on a lot of things with finance, especially in the business context. Cash flow management, I didn't know what the hell that was. I was like, I don't know, money came in, bro. Like, look, we good. We got money,
Yeah.
So on the positive side, I got to learn a lot of business finance from him. And I'm grateful for that, because to be honest with you, I couldn't understand how to do that now if I didn't have that experience.
Right.
So that was on the positive side. And then the other side, we'll call that wisdom, right? Like, it's learning through, kind of trial and error and kind of being put through the fire.
Mm-hmm.
I think what I learned is I did not check on, alignment of values.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My heart, my vision was one thing. And then this person, he kind of had a different mindset. It was more transactional. It was more just want to make a buck, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I love to make money. But there was something I wanted to really do. And I wanted to build people and to really build a company that had a little bit more of a soul to it.
Yeah.
And so I would say the values, like, what I did not do is I did not check on values. I did not understand who this guy was, really.
Right.
I just looked at the surface.
Yeah.
The surface was he had all these credentials. The surface was we were going to have operating capital. The surface was he was going to help me with the things that I didn't like doing and I wasn't good at.
Yeah.
And so it's like dating. I just jumped into it and I was like, cool, like let's just move in.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was a really bad decision, because, the first 3 or 4 months of that partnership were, it's a honeymoon phase, right? And I think what most people need to understand, in a business partnership, it's very similar to like a relationship. You have the honeymoon phase. You have these different moments where it's like there's synergy and like nothing can go wrong and like, hey, we're going to make this happen. But then after that, reality kicks in, and then you start understanding things and seeing, and then when things happen that are stressful in business, you get to see the real side of people.
Right.
You get to see, how does this person respond to things? What is their, how do they handle crises and stress and all that? And what I just realized over time in that relationship, in that business partnership, was I kind of carried myself a little bit with I'm more of a people person.
Mm-hmm.
He was straight finance, bottom line. And so there was a lot of friction with how we treat our people, right?
Mm-hmm.
There was always conversations with, he didn't agree with our comp plan. He wanted to pay him less.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to, nickel and dime everything. And so those were the beginning moments where I was like, okay, there's some real misalignment here.
Yeah.
And then over time that just kind of building, and then there's personal friction, and then you start getting snappy with each other. And, now you're definitely not on the same page, and then that causes business issues,
right? Because
no one's happy. The culture starts dropping. People can feel it. I would say, man, the biggest things in business partnership, it's like a marriage, and legally, if it's a real business and there's real assets and there's money, like it is a marriage. You have assets together,
right?
They have access to bank accounts. There's all kind of stuff. The issue with that partnership is because I was so naive. At that time, we were doing some fix and flips as well with Wholesale.
Mm-hmm.
And the way we would structure these deals is he would go to his personal network because he had a great one, and he would get them to loan money. So money would come in on the deal, and he would actually get an origination on that. It was like a private lender, and he would, I was cool with that. No problem. You're making some points. Hey, you're helping the company.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
Now, where I was ignorant is I thought, oh, cool. Well, we're both, we're both 50-50 gain. We're 50-50 risk.
Yeah.
That wasn't the case. The way everything was structured was all the risk fell on me as personal guarantees. I was so ignorant, so young, so naive. I'm just signing stuff, And by the way, it did not affect me for a long time because the deals were fruitful.
Right.
And so I didn't know any better.
Yeah.
And dude, mind you, we did flips in Arizona. We did flips in Tennessee. We did flips in Florida.
And you're personally guaranteeing everything?
PG, yes.
All of them?
All of them.
Oh, gosh.
No clue. I didn't understand what that meant. I know.
So he didn't have any personal guarantee on any deals?
Zero. He got the gain, no risk.
No risk.
And so none of this mattered
until
the first deal went sideways.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, of course.
And dude, you can look up the address, 309 Church Street. It's up in Texarkana.
Yeah.
Dude, so deal came in August of 22. We got it for like $30,000 as on the acquisition. And I told the partner, I was like, hey man, we're probably gonna have a hard time wholesaling this. Dude, why don't we just take it down? Just take it down. We got for $30,000. We'll put 50, 60 into it, and then we'll sell it. Cool. No problem. Let's do it. And dude, I'm talking, we can get funding on it because like that, no problem. And this was like, the way that I look back on it, none of this was good. Dude, they're like overfunding deals. He's telling them the rehab is this, and they're like, we get all the money up front.
Yeah.
There's no draws.
Really?
No, because it was his personal network.
Oh, okay.
So these are guys and gals that worked at Exxon, Chevron. These are like high net worth individuals, and they're like, cool, you need $160,000. Here you go. No problem. And that worked fine for like probably the first 10, 11. We did something like 10, 11, 12 deals like that. Made money. They got paid back. All good.
Yeah.
This deal did not work out like that. And then that's when things started shifting. So we buy the property, we close on it. We have the rehab money, and then we start to do the rehab. And then we realized the rehab is much heavier than what we thought. And we also realized that market sucked.
Yeah.
So it was a tough deal. And I started noticing, I was like, hey man, I think this one's going to be bad, really bad. Like we're going to lose on this. And then we kind of kept trucking along, paying some contractors to do some stuff. And then we had another deal in Jacksonville, Florida. You guys can look it up. It's 5525 Harold Avenue. I own that property. It's listed right now.
Yeah.
For $70,000. We bought it for $70,000.
Yeah.
And the way we funded the deal is we funded the purchase price, and we also funded the rehab. So 146 was what we got. And that one, we bought it. We put the full rehab into it, dude.
Yeah.
Put all the money into it, and you can even look at the history on it. We listed it for 145, and the day it was listed, because of my business partner, he had bad tableside manners, and he talked to people sideways. Him and the contractor were fighting the whole time because nickel and diming. And like I would come in to try to like, hey man, don't worry about it. That's my partner. Like, I'm sorry, you're doing a great job. The day it got listed, we can't prove this, but I'm pretty confident this is what happened. The contractor walked into the house, busted pipes, flooded the house.
No.
He waited until we listed it.
Wow.
Flooded the whole freaking house, dude. And so we're 146. We owe 146.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh shit. Okay, this is bad. Okay. So now we're underwater on Church Street. We're literally underwater now on Harold Avenue. So then that was the first time I looked at the paperwork, and I noticed like I was PG'd on all these. I was thinking they were hard money assets. So it's like, dude, just take the house. But that's not the way they were structured. It was like I was on the hook for the debt. 100%. And I thought he was in on it too. And it's not the case. So I confronted him. And then things just got nasty, man. It just got nasty. And then, so we had those deals that were underwater. I reached out to the lenders and I told them, once again, it goes back to naive. I was naive and pure. So I was like, I'm just going to call them and just tell them the truth, Well, that didn't work out because they're friends with him.
Right.
And so they're like, well, you owe 146. So like we need to get, but I'm like, no, but you don't understand. I thought me and Charles were both 50-50 on this. I didn't know I signed all this. So the partnership just started going sideways. And then eventually I just kind of like left the company and it was a mess. It was a hot mess. There was attorneys involved, a lot of craziness. And I'm still dealing with those lenders,
right?
Like restructuring debt, doing all of that. And I mean, I'm doing one right now on Harold Avenue where I'm taking that debt, I'm putting on a 3-year note and they're going to get some sort of payoff when we sell this thing. Maybe they'll get 25, 30 grand. And then the rest of that debt, I got to put it on a note and restructure it.
Yeah.
So anyways, that was that partnership. And I look back on that and, I just was very naive. And so I would tell people, you got to check the paperwork, man. Like I was signing stuff irresponsible.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, hundreds of thousands of dollars coming into our accounts from other people, which that's cool. That's awesome. We're slinging deals. I mean, dude, we did one deal in Chandler, Arizona. We made 130 grand. So it's like when it's working, you feel like you can't lose, and because I didn't have a whole lot of business experience, I was like, oh, this is beautiful. This works. We buy a deal, we acquire it, we wholesale a lot, but then there's some deals that are juicy and why not? We can buy them. We can do that. And until it doesn't work. Yeah. And then when it doesn't work, that paperwork has to matter. Like you have to know because everything's going to go back to those words on that document. Yeah. And so that was the learning lesson, man. I didn't check the paperwork. Me and him had misalignment in values. We had a different way of operating in business. I mean, of course I'm biased, but I feel like I had a little bit more soul in the business and he was just dude about the dollar, about the buck, right? And nothing else. That will never work in a partnership. Right. It just will never work, dude.
Got to have the same values.
You got to have the same values, man.
Yeah. So what happened at the end? How did you unravel everything?
So, I, once again, so many lessons. I approached him directly at first. I felt like professionally. I sent him an email because I wanted to be professional. It was a long email. It was very heartfelt, very honest. I said, hey, let's go our separate ways. That's fine. I'll take on this. We'll restructure it, whatever. I did ask him to take some of the debt because I thought that was fair, and I got crickets on the response. And basically because we made money, like we did, and he made money and he didn't want to stop the money train. And so he refused to dissolve. He refused. And so I hired an attorney to try to force that. We had an operating agreement that he helped set up. Once again, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. Based on the operating agreement, we couldn't dissolve unless both parties agreed. So I'm stuck with this guy, like legally, right? And so I literally just had to force the move. We had an office off of Garrett Street over in Montrose in Houston. And I had 3 acquisition people and 2 dispo people. I met with them to have coffee. They already knew that there were some issues going on. And I just told them the truth. I was like, look, guys, here's what's happening. Yeah. I want to do this. Okay. If you want to come with me, let's roll. If not, no harm, no foul. Like it's probably going to be a shit show. So I'm just letting you know what I mean? Dude, they all came for better or for worse. They all came. So dude, we just I had to force the dissolution. I had to force it. I mean, legally we didn't dissolve. Like I just had to hey, I'm doing something else. I'm not doing business with you. And mistake number 2, I got into another business partnership, dude. So, I'm very fortunate. I'm married to my wife. We have a wonderful marriage. Yeah. I'm so lucky, dude. I met her, it worked, and it just worked. Yeah. Okay. In business, that's where I've learned all those hard lessons. So I was like the guy who went from one bad marriage to another bad marriage,
Right.
you know, but I did it in business.
Right.
And so I had this other guy here in Houston that, you know, I liked a lot. We had good rapport. He knew what was going on.
Yeah.
You know, he was like, you know, dude, let's just do this. Like, we can do this. You know what I mean? Like, and once again, I was looking at the surface, the synergy. I was like, okay, cool. Like, you do this in business, I do this, I do acquisition, you do financing. Maybe there's a good, like, you know, 1-2 punch here. I was also in a distressed situation financially and in business.
Mm-hmm.
So I was looking for an out. I was looking for a way to keep the truck moving without getting wiped out.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So I negotiated a partnership with them because it wasn't just him, it was him and 3 other people. That was a little bit of a tough ordeal because I didn't necessarily know the other guys that well, and there wasn't a lot of rapport, especially with one of them. And so there was some friction there. But so I'm negotiating this partnership simultaneously dealing with legal issues with this old partnership. And I ended up making it happen. I became partners with them in June of 23. And dude, we just launched, and I just kept the truck moving, and we end up, you know, hitting $100,000 in revenue like month 3. And, you know, it was the same thing. It was kind of a honeymoon, like, we're going to do this. And I thought it was going to work out. But the problem was, man, it goes back to, like, as partners, you guys have to see things very similar. And I think a lot of times where, you know, or what I've learned is, like, people say you need to get people that are opposite of your strengths.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's cool. And I think I kind of buy into that.
Yeah.
But man, y'all kind of have to be similar.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
values definitely need to line up.
Yeah.
I think the values are extremely important. The goal and the vision needs to be the same. And, you know, if character, values, and vision don't align, it's not going to work out.
It won't work.
It's not going to work
Bro,
out.
it won't work, dude.
Yeah.
And it didn't work this time either. And that was the issue. I wanted to build something big.
Yeah.
I believed in the model. You know, I still do. That's why I still do it.
Right.
And I thought that there was some natural synergy. And by the way, like, I think from a resource perspective, I think it could have worked out.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Long story short, man. So that's how the first partnership dissolved. That, I mean, mind you, that still dragged out for 6-7 months. Like I mean,
it seems like you're still dealing with it.
Well, I'm
now,
still dealing
right?
with it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. So it's something that it was a tough lesson for sure.
Yeah. Well, that's definitely an interesting part of your journey, Blake. You know, I think that at the end of the day, you go through a lot of different things to teach you lessons, to make you better in business and in life. And so, man, it's really interesting to hear your story. And, you know, hopefully a lot of people hear it and think twice before just jumping into bed with someone and signing some legal documents,
Dude,
you know?
Check the documents.
Yeah.
Number one is alignment. Alignment, like you said, of values, vision, mission. And that really has to be on the same page. And then the second thing is the paperwork has to be on point.
Right.
Period.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, let's shift a little bit gears here.
Yeah.
And man, I think we've spent the last 30 minutes or so maybe talking about, you know, all these failures. Let's talk about successes, you know.
For sure.
Let's talk about what's working right now. Let's talk about your wins and your successes. I think a lot of people at home would like to hear about your story and then how you turn it around and what you're doing now that's working.
Yeah.
But before we do, let's just hear from our sponsors real quick. You don't have to stop recording. You all good? Good?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right, and we're back. So, Blake, let's talk about the next journey in your career, man. You know, we spoke a lot about some of the failures, some, you know, partnerships didn't work out. Let's talk about how you turned it all around, man.
Yeah.
What was that moment after you came out from both partnerships, and what did you do differently at that point?
Absolutely. I'll say this, that even though those partnerships, you know, didn't work out.
Yeah.
We still did a bunch of deals.
Yeah.
You know, like, I mean, with the second partnership, over 1.2 million the first year. Even with the first partnership, we made millions in revenue.
Yeah.
So we made it happen.
Yeah.
And it just shows you that, like, even in spite of some of that, like, if you have the right systems and structure it will work. So, but the lessons were definitely there within that partnership. So I think what I'm doing now is I'm taking those lessons of what works in the business. And now that I don't have a business partner,
Yeah.
well, technically my wife, she's my business partner,
Right.
It's now I can run this the way I want to run it. Right. Without that extra friction that's not necessary. So what's working, is, man, a couple things. I mean, the digital PPC ads, like leads coming in, is I'm a big believer in that.
Yeah.
I don't do a lot of cold calling. I know me and you are working together now. We're using your AI system to do outbound, which I'm excited with, because I think that's going to be a cleaner way of generating leads.
Right.
For outbound. But yeah, the PPC digital ads are working. That's working good. I like that because it keeps my KPIs clean, meaning I don't have to filter through 50, 60 leads to get a closing. I only need to filter through 15 to 20.
Right.
So it helps my sales guys in their process to keep the pipeline cleaner and a lot more decisive versus just kind of filtering a bunch of leads.
Yeah.
So that's working well. I also think reining in my market, going to Houston only.
Right.
I know that's not the sexy thing. Like, the sexy thing is, and I did that. I just think it works better logistically. And what I like about it is, when I was doing nationwide, if we had 10 deals in escrow, I got 10 different title companies.
Right.
I got 10 different people in 10 different states doing 10 different things. And it's a hot mess, man.
It's a nightmare.
It's a nightmare. Now I use Miranda Juarez at Capital Title. Shout out to her. She's awesome. And we send every file to her.
Yeah.
It is streamlined and it's clean, and we have one point of contact.
Yeah.
And so
it's easy.
It's easy, man.
Yeah.
I'm just a believer in that. Like, you don't have to go in 44 states to do deals. Like, there's enough deals here in Houston.
Yeah. So when did you start going off on your own after the second partnership?
Yeah. So, June of last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, this is fresh,
man.
Yeah. So
yeah.
June of last year, June 2025, started going off on your own. What did you do at the beginning of you now being solo?
Yeah. So it was a tough go, because my wife was pregnant with our third son. She wasn't thrilled about the partnership. She was mad at, for me, and
right.
So we knew, like, that was a big deal, because it's like, okay, now we gotta come together as a unit here, because she really wasn't ever really involved in the business. I mean, I would come home and be like, we got a closing or whatever, but not the details. So when that happened, she's more operational. She runs a dialysis clinic here in Houston.
Yeah.
And so she kind of helped come in and she helped me with some infrastructure stuff in the beginning, which was awesome. And it brought us closer together as a married couple. But first thing I did is, I took, my nest egg, and which was scary, and I just dumped it into marketing. So that was the first thing, man, is like lead generation, right? Like, without leads, there is no business. So we did that, and we dumped it into marketing. I had to rebrand, I had to build out the new website and all that good stuff, which wasn't that big of a deal. But it was lead generation, is dialing that in, getting that squared away to where my guys have leads coming in, and just working the deals as we normally would. Yeah, man. But that was the very first thing, was just getting leads flowing again.
Right.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah. It's lead is definitely the lifeblood and the soul of any real estate organization. I mean, you definitely need a constant flow of motivated leads. Yeah. To be able to do business. So after you went off on your own, did you start going nationwide again from the beginning, or did you just decide, let me go only again?
Man,
Houston?
I stayed in Houston.
Yeah.
That's where we're at.
Is the price per lead more expensive?
Oh yeah,
Because you're only in Houston?
much more expensive.
Yeah.
So when I was nationwide, mind you, this was years ago, so I don't know what it is now, but cost per lead was $80 maybe.
Yeah.
75, $80 a lead
Nationwide?
nationwide.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is it in Houston?
Right now it's like 220, 225.
Price per lead?
Yeah, price per lead.
Got it. So it takes what, 10 to 15 leads to be able to get a property under contract. So you're looking at around like $3,000 probably. Price per contract.
Yeah, our KPIs are 12% on the acquisition. So, 12% of leads that come in.
Guys, if you're doing business in Houston and you don't have a great title company, I highly recommend you guys to use Natalie Murillo with Black Label Title. They were awarded the best title company in 2026 by Houston Latino Magazine. But I think what's truly impactful of working with Natalie is that her title company can do pass-through funding for A to B closings. If you're an investor, this is very important to you because it means that you don't need to have your own funds to be able to finance an A to B closing on a double close. You can use the funds from the C to B to fund A to B transaction. If you don't understand what that means, reach out to Natalie. She can explain it all to you. More importantly, you can make a very big assignment fee without your buyer or your seller finding out what that fee is. So it's a great opportunity to get with a investor-friendly title company. They also do blind HUDs, assignments, novations, subject to wraps. And so they close in all Texas counties, right? So they can do e-signing. You don't even have to have a closing in the title company, right? They do CE classes. Listen, guys, if you're wholesaling or you're investing in Texas, you need to call Natalie Murillo with Black Label Title. And the link for Natalie is going to be in the show notes. So the number for Natalie Murillo is 936-442-8486. Make sure you mention Josue Llanas with Pick Up the Phone Podcast. If you're a real estate investor anywhere in the United States, you need to listen up. GetHardMoney.com is a free platform for real estate investors. You can find local hard money, connect with the lender directly, request term sheets, and chat all in one single place. What I really like about the website is that they have free tools. They have built-in AI comping. They have flip property calculators. They have cash to close calculators. Everything's 100% free. You don't even need to sign up to be able to use their calculators, which I find extremely useful whenever I'm running numbers on a property. So it's going to be free all the time, no cost ever. So if you're investing and you need a lender connections or you need deal analysis tools, it's a no-brainer, right? It's a no-brainer to sign up. So the way to sign up is you go to gethardmoney.com and the link is going to be in the show notes. If you're a nationwide real estate investor, you need to go check out gethardmoney.com. Gethardmoney.com is the number one place to find local hard money lenders. You can connect with them directly. You can request term sheets. You can chat all in one single place. The coolest thing that I think about gethardmoney.com is that you have free tools built in, AI comping, you have a flip profit calculator, cash to close calculator. What's really cool about it also is that it's 100% free. You don't have to go and buy anything. You can sign up. You can use all the tools that they have. They have tools added there all the time. No cost ever. So if you're investing and you need lender connections, this site works nationwide. If you need deal analysis, this thing is a no-brainer. There's no cost to sign up. It's just free value, free connections to any real estate lender out there. So go sign up, gethardmoney.com. Price per lead, price per contract. I think you're talking about 12% of acquisitions is what?
Yeah. So every 100 leads that come in, 12% will get under contract.
Okay.
So 12. Like, so that's the first KPI.
Yeah.
The main KPI that I really focus on with my guys and our team is leads to closings, right? That's where the money hits the bank account. So for us right now, we're hovering around 6 to 6.5%, which I think is pretty strong. So every 100 leads, 6 will hit the bank account.
Okay.
So that's a big metric for us. So it's like, it's a funnel. So for us, it's 12% of leads will be contracts, and then 8% of leads will sell on Dispo. 6% will close.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it seems about right. That means that you probably get about like 1 out of every 8 or 9 leads under contract, basically.
Yeah, under contract.
Yeah.
But not closed.
Right. Yeah, of course. I mean, man, one of the hardest things about real estate is like getting all excited about like you get a fat spread on a deal, and you're thinking you're gonna make a buttload of money, and then all of a sudden title issues,
man,
easements, build lines, just like all sorts of things.
It's heartbreaking.
Yeah, it's truly I've like kind of come to the conclusion like you have to be kind of either a masochist or just
dude, you do
just have like an extreme level of not caring and just being able to move forward.
I think you have to learn. For me, what helps me is I stay focused on the data.
Yeah.
So because in the beginning of my real estate journey, you get so emotional with deals.
Yeah.
And if something goes sideways, I mean, you're just a train wreck, right? It's like, oh man, the world's falling apart.
Right.
Dude, now I stay focused on the numbers, man. I'm like, hey, get 100 leads. This is what's going to happen. I don't know which deals. I have no idea, man. Like, I mean, we'll know as we work them, but staying focused on that kind of helps me detach.
Yeah.
And I try to instill that mindset with my guys. So whenever they're working deals with sellers and buyers, they don't feel too like connected and paranoid about the deal, where it's like, because when you stay loose and detached, you work deals better anyways.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. So what does your team look like now? How many people do you have working with you?
Man, so we're lean. And I want to keep it that way for a little while, but so it's myself, we have a transaction coordinator, and I got my guys, Jacob and Edward. Shout out to them. They're awesome. They've been with me for, 3 years now.
Yeah.
They work both sides. So they do acquisition and dispo, and they do a great job, man. And so they work the pipeline. I, focus more on the building of the systems, the infrastructure, but then also, we call them money deals. So like I feel like my number one job for my guys is to help them spot money. Right. So I spend my mornings looking at the pipeline and kind of giving them insight on, hey, I see this on this deal. This is what I looked up on the property records. I think this could happen. And so it kind of gives them a little bit of a few different layers deep, so where they have a little bit more context and confidence working that deal with the seller and the buyer.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. So then, you mostly in Houston, mainly PPC. You said you were even like, and I love, systems and processes.
Yeah.
So you just moved on to a new CRM.
Yeah. So shout out to Chris Bounds here in Houston. We switched over to Pathways, and my reason for switching was, I know me and you talked about it. I love AI.
Yeah.
I'm still learning it, but like the concept of it, dude, I'm all in.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is the thing, right?
Right.
So I talked to Chris, I had a demo call with him, and this was probably 6 weeks ago. And he was like, I built out this CRM with all this AI automation. And I was like, dude, I'm sold.
Yeah.
Let's do it, man. I was using at the time REI Simply. And it was okay. Not a bad CRM.
Yeah.
I thought it was way overpriced though, And so I'm like, I'll spend like $1,000 a month on this. And we weren't maximizing it. So it was hard for me to justify it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, here we got Chris's platform. It's much less, but I feel like there's a lot more customization that I could do with the AI.
Yeah.
So we switched over to Pathways recently, and it's been good. It's a transitioning CRMs can be clunky.
Yeah. It takes a while too.
It does.
It's not easy to like just. It's not always a clean cut. It takes a while to fully kind of migrate.
We're still doing that right now.
Yeah. So you're doing deals in Houston, and so like let's talk about like deal flow. What kind of deal flow do you have now? What kind of are you mainly wholesaling? Are you doing any sort of creative financing? Like what kind of offers are you guys making?
Yeah. So
what does your pipeline look like?
For sure. So right now we're closing, call it 4 to 6 closings a month on average. And if you're in real estate, that means 1 month it's 8.
Yeah.
1 month is 2.
Yeah.
But like on average, that's kind of where we're hitting.
Right.
I do want to scale that up to get that around 10 closings within the next 12 months, which would be great. But that's our deal flow. And as far as our exits, we're only wholesaling and we're doing novations. So those are our only 2 exits right now. I told you my story with the past lender, so I'm not buying anything. Like, it's just not a good time for me to be fixing and flipping properties.
No, it's not the time.
It's not the time, dude. No,
it's not the market.
No,
Definitely not.
So it's all wholesale and all novations right now for exits.
Nice. So you guys just for novations, do you have a license, or do you have like a realtor that helps you list the properties?
Yeah, so
Flat fee.
we flat fee. We flat fee. We use brokerlist.com.
Yeah.
And we just throw our stuff up there, and then my guys worked all the communication, right?
Right.
The realtors will inquiry about the property, and we just work the deal, dude, like a typical disposition process.
Yeah. Nice. What are you seeing right now in the market right now? Are sellers still pretty stubborn, or would you say that they're kind of softening up to like hear lower numbers, lower offers, maybe consider creative financing? Because for a long time I've heard, I see sellers just be stuck on this high valuation, right? Thinking they're sitting on a pot of gold. So what are you seeing right now?
So that's a great question. I mean, I'm just now seeing it. I would say the last 3 months, I do feel like there's a softening with the sellers.
Yeah.
Which, dude, makes me very happy.
Right.
Very happy. Actually, before we do this podcast, I was talking to Jacob. There's a condo over in off of Westheimer, and the lead came in like 2 days ago. The guy wanted 80 grand.
Okay.
And Jacob's pretty savvy, so he was already like working it backwards, and he had buyers and all this. So he got buyer feedback. So he knows he can sell it for like 60 right now.
Right.
And so anyways, Jacob talked to the seller this morning. Jacob offered him 35. Yeah, he offered him 35.
Yeah.
But the dude came down to 45.
Really?
Already.
Yeah.
So he went from 80 to 45.
Right.
And Jacob did it well. He gave him context on reasons and market and all that. But I felt like a year and a half ago, dude, that would not have happened.
Right.
I mean, dude, sellers were stuck in 2021, 2022.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, and that was a crazy time, right? Because, you list the property, there's 70 offers.
Yeah. In the first hour.
The first hour.
Yeah.
People were like spending 80 grand over ask,
Yeah. It was nuts.
And so that really, I don't think that was good for the market. Like especially from a seller perspective, false hope, false expectations. And to be honest with you, that's been our biggest friction point in the business the past couple of years is with sellers.
Yeah.
Sellers and pricing, man. I mean, It's like, we'll have buyers, no issue. Lead flow, acquisition flow, no issue. It's just getting a seller to understand that your property is not valued at this.
Right. It's not worth what you think it's worth.
Right.
Yeah. Man, well, I'm glad to hear that at least there's some sort of softening and that sellers are actually getting a little bit more understanding with the current market conditions.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so.
So I think that's going to be, beneficial for a lot of buyers right now.
I agree. Yeah.
And so I think the next 6 months, the next year are going to be pretty fun if you're in real estate for sure.
I'm
a lot of opportunities.
I'm optimistic, man.
Yeah.
I'm very optimistic. I do think sellers are coming back down to reality. I think all these macro things that are happening in the world with finance and economics and geopolitical stuff, I think people are like, yeah, let's just sell the house. Like we don't need to sit here and fight over $13,000. Like let's, because oftentimes
there's war going on, like all these crazy things. What are you seeing on the buyer side, man? Like are buyers being a little bit more conservative? What are buyers telling you now?
Man, I have a philosophy that if you have a good deal, there's buyers, right? Yeah. And I just think that's just the case.
Yeah.
Yes, I do see. Here's what I see, man. I mean, it's all a negotiation, right? So it's like everybody's leveraging.
Yeah, and a buyer's gonna say anything, right?
Dude, I love them, right?
Yeah,
we work with them, but we know we're gonna get certain word tracks, right? We're gonna hear about the war.
Yeah,
like, I'm like, bro, come on, like that has nothing to do with this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, right? We're gonna hear about interest rates. You know,
Yeah.
we're gonna hear about the cost of insurance. Like there's certain word tracks that you can almost just guarantee that a buyer is going to give you.
Yeah.
And I understand the game, right? Because like, you know, if you're a party to a transaction, your job is to negotiate in your best interest. And you know, by the way, we do it with sellers.
Yeah.
So I will say this, that I feel like we get more of those narratives from buyers, but it's like, it's sort of just like, well, that's just what we expect to hear. But here's what the thing, we're still getting offers and they're still willing to close and buy.
Yeah.
So I think at the end of the day, that's all you can really ask for.
Yeah.
They obviously know that they have a lot more leverage in the market right now because it's a buyer's market,
Right.
you know? So I am seeing that, even though I think it's softening up a little bit with the sellers. Now the buyers are a little bit tougher, but
Yeah.
I'd rather have a tough buyer because I feel like we can work that out
Yeah.
than an unrealistic seller.
Yeah.
Any day.
Yeah. Definitely makes sense. Cool, man. And then in terms of deal flow, you know, where do you see the market in terms of inventory? Are you seeing that affecting, you know, in terms of pricing, right? Because on the retail side, you know, we know that prices are stabilizing. You know, I don't want to say that they're going down, right?
Right.
I feel like it's more of a stabilization that's going on right now.
Yeah.
So how does that affect the entire playing field for you right now?
Man, honestly, I don't give that a whole lot of thought. I mean, and maybe I should. I look at what we do with off-market acquisition as it's you know, it's a kind of a unique deal.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
But I will say this, man. You know, we recently closed on a novation deal last week, off of Recon Drive, 13003 Recon Drive. It was a good deal. We made a good spread, good deal for the seller. But I'll be honest, when we first got that acquisition, I thought we were going to make a ton more money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just did. I was telling Jacob, it was his deal. I was like, oh bro, we're going to sell this for 430, 425, you know, end up selling it for 370.
370.
Yeah. Still a good deal for us. But I mean, I was like, dude, no BS. Like when it came in, I was like, we might make 6 figures on this.
Yeah.
Like, it's gonna be beautiful, you know?
Yeah.
And it ended up being still a good deal, but it's that the pricing, like you said, it's a lot more stable. It's starting to kind of stabilize. It's not as crazy. So I'm seeing that on the novation deals for sure. Like, you know, we're not able to push prices as hard.
Yeah.
And you know, and I also think when we list these properties, man, I would rather list it, like if we think we can sell it for 380, I would rather list it for 369.9 than, you know, 399.9.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you want to get more traction.
Yeah,
on it.
more traction. And I just think those are things that we're seeing. We have to be a lot more competitive with our price point. Buyers are not going to do nothing goofy right now. Like they're going to be a lot more picky and nitpicky and stuff. So yeah, I think it's stabilization, but I think that's healthy.
Yeah.
I do, man.
Yeah.
The stuff we saw a couple years ago, although it benefited me and my company a lot.
Yeah.
I knew deep down, I was like, this is not good.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
you know,
Where do you see your next phase of your career going? You know, 2026. What does 2026 and 2027 look like for you?
Man, scaling out Property Royals, which is the single family company.
Yeah.
I recently did an 8-unit deal in Alvin.
Yeah.
The buyer was a buddy of mine, so that was really cool. We got to do that deal together. I'm putting a lot of my personal time into off-market acquisitions on multifamily. I think there's a huge opportunity for multifamily right now.
Yeah.
With price points and a lot of loans maturing from, you know, 21, 22.
Yeah.
With sellers. So for me, it's doing some multifamily deals, and hopefully, God willing, big deals. And then, you know, just building upon that, but then also, you know, I really, you know, we haven't really talked a lot about like faith and stuff, but I'm a faith driven guy. You know, God is what's got me through a lot of these trials and errors. And, you know, I personally believe business is and this is, I'm not a knock on church, but business for me has gotten me closer to God than church.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like when you get put on your knees and you get humbled,
Yeah.
you know, cause like, I feel like, dude, that's what business is. It's like constant humble pie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? it makes you check your ego, and it makes you rely. And dude, there's been many nights where I'm like, God, I don't know what the hell's going on.
Right.
I don't know how I'm going to pay this. I don't know how I'm going to be able to do this. But dude, he showed up every single time. So I've gotten a lot closer with God. So to answer your question, Property Royal, scale that. Multifamily, I want to do some multifamily deals.
Yeah.
And then there's this thing that I feel very driven to do. And I just started working on it, but I want to have like a men's community.
Yeah.
That's for business guys, but it's faith-based, right? Where just normal dudes, that aren't pastors can get together, build their faith, but also maybe it could be a network to help them in their business as well. So that's something that it's new, but dude, I'm going to go for that. That's going to be something that I feel very passionate about that.
Man, that'd be, I think that'll help out a lot of young men out there,
Yeah.
right? There's a lot of young men out there that need direction. They need some guidance. And I think, you'd be a great source for that. So
Yeah, man.
If someone, do you partner right now with a lot of wholesalers? What kind of, how does your infrastructure look like to be able to partner with other people?
Man, we do quite a bit of JVs.
Yeah.
It's awesome, man. It to me, it's like the biggest compliment when someone brings you a deal and they're like, "Hey, bro, can you sell this?"
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
We often even sometimes help them on the acquisition with the seller. So we encourage that, man. Reach out to us if you want to JV a deal. We're not greedy, dude. You'll we'll do we'll 50-50. I mean, we'll even help you on the acquisition.
Yeah.
Like, so we really enjoy that, because for us, it's like, dude, that's extra deal flow.
Right.
And then it's really cool, because then it's like, if we can build that relationship with you and help you get paid quicker,
right.
You're going to want to keep working with us, and it's good for you as well. Right. So we encourage JV opportunities. We love doing that.
Yeah.
And then with Property Royals, man, we're always looking for talent, guys and gals that maybe they have a sales job, or, they are in real estate, but maybe they're struggling, because real estate can be tough if you're on your own island.
Yeah.
So it's like, we encourage that if you feel like you have a skill set, you're coachable, you're hungry, you want to learn, and you want to go from maybe you're doing 2 deals a year by yourself, but now it's like, hey, now we can do 2 deals a month. Yeah. Right. And so that increase in deal flow for you, working within a company structure, gets you faster experience. You're going to learn faster, grow faster, and you'll be able to make more money doing that. So I'm a big believer in that. I love coaching. And so we encourage that as well. Like, if someone's talented and they're hungry, they're driven, and you're in real estate, but you're it's going slower than you want, man, reach out to us. We'd love to see maybe there's an opportunity you can work within our company. Yeah.
For anyone that's listening to everything that you just said, how can they reach out to you, man?
Yeah. So Instagram is probably one of the best ways. I was on a podcast a couple of months ago, and dude, so my Instagram is at the real Blake Ryan Hawkins. I only had to do real because my other one got hacked. I feel so douchey having the real, but that's what it is. So it's at the real Blake Ryan Hawkins. Yeah. DM me, dude. I'll respond right away. Yeah, man. And then from there, we can just build that connection and relationship. And I'm here in Houston. So if you're here in Houston, I'd love to, connect in person as well.
Yeah, cool. So at the real Blake Hawkins.
Yeah, at the real Blake Ryan Hawkins. Yeah.
Cool, man. Dude, well, this is a lot of fun, man. I really appreciate you coming out here and sharing your story. Is there anything else you'd like to share before we wrap up here?
Yeah, man. If you're an entrepreneur, a business person, a salesperson, and you have a dream, a vision, dude, just go all in on that, believe in that. And if you're going through some trials and some struggles and some challenges, just know, like, you're in really good company. Yeah. That we all go through it. Right. I think we don't share enough of that on social media. I know it's hard to do that sometimes, right? You need more context, but I would just say this, just to know that every single person that you look up to that's successful, they've been punched in the gut hundreds and thousands of times, and I promise you, they all had moments where they wanted to quit. Yeah. So you're in good company. Yeah. So just keep going, find the people you can connect with to help you grow, and don't give up.
Yeah. That's a great message, Blake. I think a lot of people need to hear that, man. Yeah, so, man. Definitely don't give up. That's if you just keep on going long enough, you'll get to the other side.
Success is inevitable if you don't quit, man.
That's right. Yep. That's right. Thank you so much for being here again, man. I really had a great time.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you. Boom.
Cool,
Let's
man.
go. How was that?
That was fun, bro.
It was good, right?
What do you think? You think
It was
turned out
great.
good?
Yeah, absolutely, man.